Welcome to this tutorial brought to you by River City Graphics. Today I'm going to be showing you some of the new stroke options on the shape tools in Photoshop CS6. So to get started, we're going to open up Photoshop, and I'm just going to head down to our shape tools, and I'm going to select the rectangle tool. Just going to hold shift and drag out a nice perfect blue square. So once we have that, I'm just going to remain on the shape layer, and I'm just going to take and zoom in. Now, in order to create a stroke on this shape in previous versions of Photoshop, you would take and go to your layers panel. At the very bottom, you see the little FX button. Now I'm going to click on that, and off screen I'm selecting stroke, and it'll bring up this box, and you can basically select the stroke size right here, set it to inside or outside, and a few other options. Now, if you wanted a custom stroke, such as you would get in other programs like Illustrator, you would have to custom make that, because these were the only automated options for the stroke in Photoshop. Now, with Photoshop CS6, you get a couple more options in order to help you customize your shape. So, basically what we're going to do is head up to the very top of your Photoshop window. So we're looking at these other options up here. Now, with your shape tool selected, you can take and click on stroke, come down and select another color, and you can instantly see it's been added to your shape. Alright, so at this point, basically it's the same as what we saw with just using a layer style. You can take and also scale this up as well. Now, what the change comes with is this box right here. So we're just going to click on that, and these are the stroke options. Now you can select between dashed lines, dotted lines. You have some different cap options and corner options. Now, if you're new to this interface, if you haven't used, this is very similar to Illustrator, so if you haven't used Illustrator or don't know what these options are, because they don't really label them here, I would recommend just taking and clicking on the More Options button, because it brings up this nice little box where it actually labels the elements that are in this interface. So within here, I already mentioned that you have your solid line, you have your dashed line, and you have your dotted line. Now I'm just going to keep it on dashed in order to show you some of this stuff. You have some options of how you want the stroke to be aligned to your shape. So you can set it to inside, so it's basically inside the boundaries of your shape. You can set it to center, so that it centers the stroke on the boundary of your shape, and then outside is completely outside of that boundary. So I'm just going to put it back to inside, and you can also change the cap, and basically what that is on this dashed line, it's going to be on these pieces right here. So you can see that we have the butt part right here. Now you'll be able to see this a little better when I select round. You can see it's now rounded out those dashes, and square basically extends part of the stroke past the end point. So you can see that if we change it from square to butt, they get shorter, so that's kind of what's happening there. Now you also have some corner options, and I'm going to take and select the solid line, and I'm going to put this to outside in order to give you a good effect of what this is actually doing. Now with the corners, currently we have it on miter. Now that basically just is the hard corner that you see right here. If we select round, you can see that it rounds off the corners. And then bevel, it will actually kind of chisel off the corners. So if we go back to the dashed line, that's what these options at the bottom are for. You can see right here we have a 4 and a 2, and we have dashed line selected, or checked in the checkbox. Now the first number that you have here is for the dash, and that's actually denoting the length of your dash. So if I took and put this from 4 to say 8, you can see that these get considerably longer. Maybe too long, we'll put it back to 6. Now this gap is basically the size in between each of these dashed elements. So I can take and change it from 2 to 4, and you can see that the gap increases, and it changes the number of dashes according to the gap and your length of dash, so that it'll kind of fit them in accordingly. Now you'll see that you have a couple of other boxes. You see that there's two other sets of those dash and gap boxes. The first one and the other one are basically the same thing. It's if you want to add in multiple sizes of dashes and gaps. So say that we wanted to add in, we can bring this down to say like 5. So we have a little bit of room. Say that we wanted to bring in another dash that was a length of 3, and then we wanted to have a gap of 1. Now you can see that we have our dash of 5 right here, and gap of 4, and we also have our dash of 3 and gap of 1. So basically you can get some really cool kind of custom effects there. Now you can also save anything, so say that we wanted to save this as a preset, you can come up here and save it so that you can use it again later. So this is definitely getting Photoshop a lot closer to Illustrator in terms of stroking of shapes. So I hope you guys learned something in this tutorial. I hope you guys try out Photoshop CS6. Again, I'm including the link to the free and open beta in the description down below. So I invite you to check that out. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment. I have a new video coming out every week, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.